Okay, I think we should be good now. Okay,
Okay.
let me start recording from here. It is common to get the question, hey, do you go to the gym? And by that, everyone is asking you that if you're doing some kind of a resistance training protocol, but hardly people get to ask you if you do some kind of Olympic lifting. I wonder why. One reason might be because people think Olympic lifting is difficult. People think Olympic lifting is um, different for everyone, and most of the people they probably don't understand Olympic lifting. So today, to clear the confusion, I have got to you someone special. I first got introduced to him by one of my friends, Barnd, who has been in the show, who's been talking about hydration and biohacking water. And today, I have someone who started doing Olympic lifting when he was 12 years old. He's got a degree in sports science and trains in multiple gym and multiple athletes. Mehdi Boukhrissi, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, my brother.
Welcome. Did I say your last name right? Is it Boukhrissi?
Yeah, Boukhrissi en arabe, in Arabic.
Boukhrissi. Okay, perfect. So tell me, Mehdi, the last time I checked, when people or when kids especially are 12 years old, they're running around behind each other in the park, they're playing some kind of video game, they're watching TV. Why did you decide to do Olympic lifting at the age of 12?
Well, it started because my best friend's father was the president of the club where I trained. And the days where there were no school, for example, Wednesday afternoon in France, generally for small kids or small teenager, there is no school in the Wednesday afternoon. And yeah, he brought us to this gym, and I just started to move there, and I really liked the sport, the training, the feeling, and so this is how it started. I just follow a friend who wanted to pack on some muscle, and his father was the president of the club. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, this is how.
Did you did you have any did you see Olympic lifting on TV before you joined? Like,
No,
did you
no,
want to be one of those guys who can lift and do cleans and snatches on TV?
no, never. I did not know about this sport.
Okay. And then you moved on to perform at youth national levels. How was your experience with that? At what age did you go for the youth national levels?
It was really young, like 14, 15 years old
Oh,
maximum.
wow. So that's like 2 to 3 years after training.
Yeah, but as you said earlier, kids prefer to run, to play in parks, etc. And to be honest, the first year of training was developing motor skills a lot. We did not lift much. We if if you see CrossFit today, it was some kind of CrossFit, but maybe less structured. Like there was not EMOM stuff and AMRAP stuff and blah blah blah. And but we were training like this. Okay, kids, you run 60-meter all out, and then you come back, and then you do three power cleans, and then you grab the bar, and you hang yourself on the bar, and you stay there as much as you can, and so on. It was a lot of different movement, running, jumping, changing directions, and so on. Yeah.
Do you think CrossFit was born after a lot of people at that time were doing Olympic lifting and they wanted just like Greg Glassman? Did he want something different and that's why he made CrossFit?
Maybe, I really don't know. He claimed that this was a system to train military and special forces, but I don't know. With American, it's uh, very often they make the history sounds good, so you buy to the stuff. But yeah,
Correct.
I don't know. But maybe who knows?
Okay. And how long did you train for when you were like training for these 3 years? Was it only on Wednesdays, or were you having two sessions a day, or how did it work?
No, even no, no to be honest, we trained very little, maybe maximum 3 times a week. Like it
Hmm.
was mostly Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay. And then you moved on and you studied electricity, and then you worked in that field for 6 years. And then you decided that probably this is not your best shout out. So you went back to school and you learned sports science. Did you train all those years that you were working in the electricity field?
No, no, no. There were no training, no good food, no nothing. Partying a lot, yes, but you know, teenage years.
Okay.
You
So,
just
what
don't.
made you go back to sports science or looking at the science behind all these high level sports?
Well, as I mentioned, I was partying a lot, not eating right, and yeah, I felt like, oh, okay, I was much sharper a few years ago, so it's not good, and I didn't want to work anymore in the electricity field or construction uh,
Hmm.
works. And I didn't know what to do. And a friend of mine told me, "Well, you were really good at school. Maybe you can go to university to do some sports stuff. Will be because you like
Hmm.
sports." I said, "Well, I okay, why not? I didn't know that this existed, but okay." And then I went to the sports university, and yeah, I passed. How do we say, a bachelor degree in sports science.
Hmm.
So it was a really great experience, and
When I look back at time myself, I studied marketing and advertising. And after working for a few years in that field, I realized that that wasn't really my shout out as well. And now when I hear about back in the day, sports science, especially in this part of the world where I'm living right now, Dubai, United Arab Emirates, no one heard about it. And even like going to the gym, I went to the gym when I was 14 or 15 years old because I was obese, I had to lose a lot of weight and to get in shape. So I wish every time I hear that someone studied sports science, there is one part of me that says, only if I could have studied sports science, I would be really good at it because now I'm studying all the time from different resources, talking to different people. But that is somewhere where my passion lies. And it's so nice that you could actually go back and do it. So good one on you, man.
really
And
interesting.
when I've over the years, I have, like I said, I'm 30 now, so I've been training upwards of 15 to 16 years, and I've come across a lot of athletes. I trained with ex UFC fighters like Roger Huerta. I've trained with some, weightlifting coaches. I have trained some people myself as well. And whenever I think of an athlete, whether it's professional or recreational or which is just for fun, or even some people in the performance industry, everyone wants to lift more weights and become strong. This is over the board. You'd see, apart from aesthetics, because some people just want to look good, but other than looking good, the one thing that everyone is looking for is lifting more weights and becoming strong. But then I think about it that in a different way, everyone is just chasing the power output. Because when you look at like classic calculations, as you must know, like power equals strength multiplied by speed. And then in reality, you need more power to do everything. You're at a party and someone asks you like, how many push-ups can you do? And if you want to do more push-ups than the other person, you actually need more power to do it faster. If you want to run up a stairs, climb, run fast, you need a lot of power for that. And when I did CrossFit a couple of years ago, and I got introduced to Olympic lifting, then I knew very fast as soon as I was doing power snatches and these things over the head that I could easily transfer the force from the ground to my fingertips in no matter whichever situation I was in very fast. So talk to me about powerlifting and what it really does for a person. How does it work with the nervous system? What does it really help you in daily life?
Well, first of all, when I was kid and I started weightlifting, an old coach there, said to us, yeah, Olympic lifting is the school of back of the you understand the back of the
Yeah,
body.
weightlift.
So
Yeah.
this means it will teach you to prevent your back. Of course,
Hmm.
Olympic performances and Olympic performances will not be something healthy. But if you train regularly on weightlifting to improve your health, you will have a better back, a better general health, even bone health in general because of the pressure you put on it. But
Hmm.
most of all, Olympic lifting, because of the speed component of the movement, will help recruit more muscle and will do it quicker. So your nervous system will recruit more muscle faster, and this will help you to mobilize more weight. So even for daily life, it helps a lot to carry stuff. For example, if you are, I don't know, you you go to the grocery and you have a really heavy bag, and to carry them easily in your car or from your car to your home. Yeah.
And also, I think a lot of this happens in older adults. When people get old, especially after the age of 30, there's a loss in muscle mass every decade that happens. It's called sarcopenia.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why old people get themselves injured or, for a lack of a better word, like die or lose their longevity is because they slip and they break a hip and they're not able to stand properly. So I think if everyone started doing weightlifting, some version of weightlifting, they will just increase their postural muscles so much that chances of falling and probably like a hip replacement will be lesser. Am I
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. I 100% believe in this. Yeah, as you mentioned, the first cause in mortality in elder people is how do we say the femur break. So they break the bone of the femur or the hip, and yeah, you can prevent this by first eating enough protein and second train on the weight. So yeah, of course, and yeah, one do not have to use the full Olympic lifts like the full snatch or so, but even just variation would be great, and there is a variation for everyone.
Is it true that most injuries that happen in Olympic lifting would happen when the bar is closer to the ground? So when you're, let's say, you're lifting the bar from the ground into a full snatch or a squat snatch, you have more chances of injury when you lift it comparatively from a hang snatch. So is
Uh,
that like a variation or?
I don't know. I don't know about this point. I have never
Mhm.
looked at the injury rates. But what I can tell you is that the technique, the process of teaching the technique is far more complicated if you start from the floor. So if you have an athlete, for example, a rugby player, or anyway, um, you will have better time to teach the technique from hang above the knee. The result will be almost the same, and you will gain a lot of time because this knee um, passing the knee with the bar is really complicated to learn. So starting from the hang has a lot of benefits, especially if you don't want to use the full movement.
I wish someone told me this earlier because when I was transitioning into CrossFit, I did not go through like a formal training. So this is my story. I saw CrossFit picking up in 2014 or 2013, and yeah, around 2013. And I would always see these CrossFit games coming up on TV, and everyone was jacked, and they were lifting these complicated lifts. So I told myself, I know how to do a deadlift. I know how to. At that time, I was already going to the gym. I know how to do a deadlift. I know how to, press a weight above my shoulder. I'm probably strong that way. So let me just look at them and copy their style. But I must tell you that this did not work at all, because it took me so long to constantly make mistakes. I didn't get injured a lot, but there were some minor injuries that were going on just because I did not know the form correctly. And today, when anyone talks to me, I also put this emphasis that your one of the most important things that you must look for is just the technique. It doesn't matter if you're just in the gym and you're practicing with the PVC pipe or like an Olympic bar just by itself. You don't have to put so many crazy weights, even if you're strong, because then you have a lot of people coming from bodybuilding, and then they already are huge, and everyone expects the society expects you to lift more weights and throw more weights down, but then you don't know the technique. So a lot of people, I think, start injuring themselves up that way.
Yeah. And you said it earlier. Power is strength per acceleration per speed. So when you accelerate even the empty barbell, you end with a load that can be interesting if you are a beginner or weak. So even it's like kettlebell. If you swing like the 32 kilo bell, this is pretty good. Of course, you can do more, but this will already produce a lot of results, because when you accelerate the bell, the weight is multiplied many times.
What's your favorite? Do you prefer more kettlebell training or the barbell training, or do you use dumbbells? What's your favorite?
Well, so my true love is Olympic lifting, of course, but because of a slight injury in the left shoulder when doing too much ring work, I cannot practice much this day. I'm working on it, and it's getting better, but I cannot practice a lot. So I started to lift kettlebells, and I really like them. That's
okay. Nice.
This is my second favorite now. I really like them because this is convenient. You can, if you travel, you can just put one bell, medium size, and you can do a lot of stuff. You can still maintain your level and mass while traveling. So this is a really cool tool.
We were speaking offline for anyone in the audience who's not who. Of course, you guys didn't listen to us offline, but I was telling Mehdi that I also have a kettlebell. I used to have it in my office room, but now it's downstairs. So every time I walk in and out of the house, it's not that heavy. It's only 20 kgs, but I think it's enough for just activating those muscle fibers, just coordinating power, speed, strength at the same time, and even for endurance. Because if you don't have to lift such a heavy kettlebell, even if you have something as like 15 or 20 kgs, but then you do a Tabata set on it, which is, you go on for 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, multiplied by 4 minutes. That will elevate your heartbeat so much that you would think that you have got a CrossFit workout. So I like kettlebells too. And in fact, for a year, when COVID hit, I couldn't go to the gym. So I was just working out with one kettlebell, that's it. And I was able to gain some, just keep myself fit and, train my nervous system, train my muscles. And yeah, I like them too. But a lot of people do not appreciate what kettlebell can actually do. And you see this in the gym most of the times. Everyone is going for the barbells, everyone's going for the dumbbells, but there will hardly be anyone in the kettlebell section. Is it different in France? Like, do people know more about kettlebells or?
No, that's exactly the same way. Sometimes you see a person doing few swings, but with a really bad form, and that's 12 kilo swings or for 30 reps, for example. That it doesn't work, doesn't do anything. So and to quote Pavel Tsatsouline from in the book Simple and Sinister. He said that only most of the time you only have few kettlebell choice. So this diminishes the choices you have, and you don't overthink your workout. So I maybe can do the chest press. But maybe I do the regular bench press. But maybe the dips, or and you are thinking too much about your training, and at the end you don't do anything. So
It's just like Netflix.
yeah,
You get onto Netflix and then you think that, oh, it's got so many options and it's going to make your life easier, but that doesn't happen. You keep on going next. At least me, I'd go next and the next and the next, and there's a point that you get frustrated because you don't know which one to choose from. But I
yeah,
think your point is correct. With kettlebell, you eliminate that.
yeah. If you have only one bell or two, so you go for it, and then you start doing some stuff. You start moving your body, and that's fine.
What about like we were talking about injuries and things, and I've seen you. I've seen your Instagram profile, and you have a lot of pictures in a CrossFit gym. And when I used to train CrossFit, there used to be not a lot of people knew about it, but everyone would talk about this cartoon character called Uncle Rap. Cartoon character exists in France. It's basically this character that is associated with a lot of. So they tell you that, hey, don't be like Uncle Rap and don't injure yourself so much.
What is his name? What is the name of the character?
It's called Uncle Rhabdo. It gets its name from this state called, I think it's called rhabdomyolysis,
Yeah.
which basically is you get a severe kidney condition by doing excessive exercise, and this is something that you see a lot of people do CrossFit. A lot of my friends were doing CrossFit. I see this happen a lot. Not the kidney condition, but basically it could be life threatening, where it is caused by multiple factors, including genetics, where your muscle actually breaks down the myoglobin, and what happens is it releases into the bloodstream, and then it gets clogged in the kidneys and it poisons them. Also, a lot of the times CrossFit athletes are pushing themselves up to the extreme, and sometimes they forget to drink water, and when we are dehydrated, the kidneys cannot filter out all the toxins, and then you have electrolyte imbalances, and that ultimately affects like kidneys and your heart and stuff. So my question would be, when you train your clients, do you have a certain protocol that you don't push till 100%? Because this is one of the mistakes that I see everyone do, like recreational athletes, including myself. I was training the same at the same extent like some of the CrossFit Games athletes, and I was giving my 100%, maybe 200% every day, and that didn't lead to anything. I realized very late that all these CrossFit athletes, they're not even training to up to 100%. They're probably training 60%, and then they save that energy to really train in the games.
You're correct. You're correct. Yeah. First of all, I really like to quote Dr. Schmidtleicher, who said the maximal strength is the mother of all qualities of strength. So first of all, one athlete wants to become strong first. And this is also the name of a kettlebell company running by Pavel Tsatsouline. It just the name tells everything. Get strong first. Well, if you are stronger, then with lesser weights, you will be able to do more volume, more output, more everything. So the first to condition an athlete, the first point would be make him or her stronger, and then from time to time, when everything is in check, nutrition is good, sleep is good, everything. Well, and if the athlete is engaged in a sports where he or she need some conditioning, then you add some conditioning protocols, but I would not do too much lactic stuff because it takes a lot of time to recover from it, and it's a threat for the body. So yeah, from time to time this is good, and it will accelerate fat burning. It will even regarding mitochondria health. It will select better mitochondria, and yeah, but doing it too much too early, especially if you are weak, are not strong enough, this will impair your results and probably hurt your physiology. So to answer the question, I don't do much that kind of work with my clients, excepted when they want, for example, if there is something like marriage or a wedding or vacation, and someone asks for, oh, okay, maybe for 2 to 3 weeks I want to accelerate fat loss. So okay, so I can put them in a short period of time with maybe two a week intense lactic workout, and they will lose the fat fast, but then they have to get back, to step back. So no, I don't use this a lot.
Well, I really like your strategy. You're strategically planning on basis of like a demand of a situation, whether it be vacation or marriage or something. Because obviously there are times where we want to go to the beach and there's summers and you want to show some like six packs or whatever, or you just want a flat stomach. And for those times, yeah, it is accepted. But you also mentioned that that would be like 2 times per week. And this is very important because a lot of people who are listening to this are also like pushing it a lot in the gym. And guys, if you're pushing it a lot, make sure that you take time to back off, because it is very easy to go into the overtraining game. And once you're overtraining, your nervous system is jacked up, your hormones. Like, I remember there was a time that I couldn't sleep at night. I would hear my ear ringing in the middle of the night. I probably had electrolyte imbalances, but I was making it to the scoreboard every day. So, that was making me happy. I was like, yeah, it was just a little bit fueled by the ego as well. I was like, I was better than you guys. So, but at the end of the day, my attention span went low. My memory, I had like brain fog. I couldn't focus. I was, not very good around my friends and family, because that adrenaline and that norepinephrine release that was constantly going on, and my body did not know how to move from let's say an active sympathetic nervous system to a more relaxed parasympathetic nervous system. So this is why I wanted to share all this information and get you on the show, because I see a lot of guys pushing it. I've done it in the past, but
And there is, if it's just regarding body composition, there is a big misconception. I have learned this from my mentor Wolfgang and Soul. If you know him, he's the famous German strength coach. And yeah, in one seminar, yeah, he made the point that if you look at sprinters, top level sprinter, they are.
I think I
Okay.
think we might have had a technical error there.
Yeah, no worry.
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah. Do you hear?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Okay.
I think we might have lost connection. One moment. Let me see.
I'm back in the show.
Okay. What is going on? Just a moment. One moment. We will try to figure this out. Okay, let's see what's going on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
yeah, I can hear you.
We had a bit of a technical loss there, I think, but now we are back.
Okay.
Okay,
You can
so
hear
let's
me?
continue. Yeah, I can hear you. So you were saying that high level, you were talking about the seminar, and I think that is
Yeah,
the point that it got cut.
yeah. And you talked about sprints earlier when we were chatting. Um, so I learned this from Wolfgang and Sold, who is the famous the German strength coach.
Hmm.
And yeah, in one of his seminar, he made the point that at top level athletes, sprinters, for example, are really shred, despite of not doing a lot of volume nor
Yeah.
distances. And the fact is that the power output they make is really high, and this produce a lot of lactate, and this has to be recycled through the core cycle. The key is to increase his one's maximal strength to
Hmm.
be able to produce a lot of power. And the more power you produce, the more shredded you will become.
Hmm. I think it's also with the mitochondria because you mentioned before mitochondrial health and sprinters. One thing that we know is that they're just because of the work capacity and the power that they're producing, and they're doing it in such high intensities in such small time. There's a lot of mitochondrial biogenesis, which is the birth of new and young mitochondrial cells, which then give them enough power. And when you take these athletes away from like the sprint session or the weight training room, just in your life, better mitochondria means better fat oxidation. It means
Yep.
building more strength. It makes you recover faster. Like mitochondria is the key behind it all. And this is why high intensity interval training, which is just sprinting or anything that you do for like 15 to 20 minutes that really gets your intensity up,
Yeah.
also gives you more benefits than, let's say, going to the gym for an hour and a half.
True. That's true.
But let's talk about one of the other important aspects in all types of weight training, and this has been getting a lot of attention recently, which maybe back in the day when you and me started, it wasn't as big. It is called mobility. So, do you think mobility is important, and what do you think about mobility? I wanted to get your take on it.
Yeah. So mobility is a continuum, if you like. You have in one side of the continuum you have mobility, and in the other side you have pure strength and rigidity. So, for example, if you are a power lifter, you probably want to be more in the rigidity side, a bit more. It doesn't mean you don't need any mobility, but you want to be stiff to be able to move those load in those specific ranges.
Hmm.
If you want to be a gymnast, so you have to be almost in the middle. So you have to be super mobile, but also strong and stiff. So yeah, it depends, but neither of the extreme are good. So you have to have sufficient mobility, but most of all, you have to have good strength and stability in the range of motion. So if you're able to have um, let's for example a overhead squat, but you're not stable under, So you're maybe too mobile, and you want to work a little bit more on your stability.
I never thought about it this way. So for the average person who doesn't want to, go compete and who's just looking for a better health, do you what do you think about mobility? Like, should you do a little bit of mobility before the exercise, pre-exercise, or post-workout, or just in the day generally? Like, what is your recommendation? Do you have a certain protocol?
I have, so like everything, you can use several tools, but yeah, it really depends. So before the workout, I of course you can if you increase, especially if you do Olympic lifting, you want to have the better mobility possible, the best mobility possible. So every lifter will work on the joints, so they mobilize them in order to have the optimal mobility, to be able to go full range. But it should not be take more than 5-10 minutes. So while you're warming up, you take the barbell, or you do some movement, and then you take the barbell and you start warming up with the barbell. There are also some really interesting complex from Istvan Javorek, an all-time weightlifter and coach in weightlifting. I think now he's living in America. It was called the Javarex complex, and it was made with a barbell. You do basically 5-6 reps of several variation of movement. It could be, for example, bent over row, and then Romanian 5 reps, Romanian deadlift, then muscle snatch, and then back squat, and then behind the neck push press. And then you rest a little bit, and you start again, and you can even increase the weight to start to really warm up the whole body temperature, the whole muscles, and improve at the same time the mobility to prepare you for the Olympic lifts. So this is a good way to do it. But yeah, then I would work on mobility on really stiff and problematic limbs. I would not. Over mobility is never a good thing.
Okay. And what about stretching?
Yeah, it's the same. It depends. It depends what kind of stretch, why you do it. The more I learn, the more I think it's not that good to stretch. I don't say that you never have to stretch, but if you do it a lot, can do more harm than good. So, and what stretching does mainly, it removes tension from a place to another. So, for example, if you are too tight in the hip flexors, probably your glutes are too weak, or have too little influx, nervous influx. So if you stretch those hip flexors, you will remove some tension, and automatically your glutes will get more. So I don't say that you don't have to do it, but a little bit. If it's super tight and problematic, yeah, you release as you want. If stretching works for you, this is good. Sometimes a treatment or some myofascial release can be also beneficial, depending on the restricts the limbs.
Okay.
But I would not do too much stretching and mobility unless it's really needed.
Got it. And what is the best form of doing mobility? Are you mentioned myofascial release? So are you using, or are you making your clients use any kind of foam roller, or are you just using like a barbell over, like, some areas, or you're using the bands? What's your favorite? What do you think gives? Or nowadays there's like the Theragun, and there's these gun massagers.
Yeah.
Do you like those, or?
Correct. In fact, I use all of them,
Okay.
depending on the need. Also, gua sha tool or fat tool, if you know.
I haven't heard of that.
Never heard. Okay, it's like a knife from made of some, I would say, some rock. It's a kind of rock. Okay, it's patented, I think. And what you do basically, you just go to the skin and you make a friction at high speed, which makes the fascia vibrate and liberate all the adhesion and stuff like this. And this is
Interesting.
far less harming than gua sha. To gua sha can be sometimes it's needed. Like everything, you can use it as a tool, but sometimes it creates more inflammation than was before. So every tool is good and has benefit and downside. So
Okay.
the goal is to learn how to
How to use it in the best possible scenario.
Yeah,
Completely agree.
If you are at home and you have nothing else, then a four roller can be helpful, and you gain range of motion, of course. Lacrosse ball, Terracan, Terragun. There are a lot of stuff.
So, when we look at like building power, strength, all the things that we've spoken about, what are some of your best strategies? Like, are you doing something out of the box? Are you using any kind of biohacks to increase more muscle recruitment or something like that?
Well, there are plenty, but
What's the best ones that you've come across?
one that I really like is the cluster sets. Cluster sets make you really stronger fast.
Can you tell us what the cluster set is?
Oh yeah, it's like you take your for example your 3 RM, your 3 rep max for the lift you want to use. It doesn't have to be an Olympic lift. You can do it with squats, bench press, anything. Basically what you do only 1 reps and you rest 15 seconds and 1 reps, and you go up to 5 repetitions. So with your originally 3 RM, you are in fact with this micro pause between reps, you're doing 5 in total. So you are doing 2 more reps than your actual 3 RM. And this is a really good system to improve maximal strength fast.
Okay.
I also really like wave loading. If you heard about it.
No, tell us about it.
So this is, for example, it's okay. You set the load in a wave manner, which means I will give an example. For example, the 3-2-1 wave loading, really famous. You have other modality, but this one is the most common for maximal strength. You will use, for example, for the first wave, you would use maybe 3 reps at let's say 65% of your 1 RM, then 2 reps at 75%, and then 1 rep at 85%. And then you come back with 75%, you do 3 reps, then 85%, 2 reps, 95% 1 rep, and then you go back again for a third wave. You can do between 2 or 4 waves. And then the last wave, you would do 3 with 85%, 2 with 92, 93%, something like this, and then 1 with 100, 101, 102% of your max error.
I think I've done this in the past. I didn't know the name for it, but now that you're explaining it, it has come up in a lot of CrossFit workouts where you take an exercise like the barbell back squat, and then you go into this wave-like motion. And then when you look at the workout first, you think that it's probably not going to be that challenging. But as soon as you front load and then you're heading up higher on those waves, you start to feel muscle fatigue really, really fast.
Correct. But the goal here is not to exhaust like in CrossFit and you finish the workout like almost dying. No, it's to use what we call potentiation. So So the first wave is super easy, which potentiate a little bit the nervous system, and then you go a little bit harder, which fire up if you want the nervous system, and then you are super fired for the last wave, and then you can very often break a record if you are fresh and you do it right. You break a record every time.
Wow, that's interesting. I'm going to have to write that down and then try it out in my next workout session. Thank you for sharing that. And what about supplements? Are you a fan of supplements? What kind of supplements do you take or do you recommend?
Yeah, I'm a geek for no. It depends. Are you talking about supplement for strength?
Well, let's talk about overall, but I want to include strength as well. Like, what are your supplements for recovery? What are you doing? Are you taking like things like beta alanine? Are you using any kind of blood flow vasodilators like L-citrulline or arginine? Or just tell me what you use and what you think works the best.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the basics should be covered. So first of all, the person should not be deficient in all basic vitamins, B, all the B's, C, E vitamins, and so on. Then, but if you eat really good and stuff like liver often, and you might not be that deficient, and you maybe want just to supplement few of them. But one of them would be ADK, K2. So the D3 and K2, especially in winter, maybe not that much in your area because
We always have summers and sunshine.
Yeah, it's almost all the year. I think you can get adequate level of vitamin D. But for us in Europe or some other part of the world, vitamin D and D3 and K2 should be supplemented. That is really important.
A lot of people don't really know what K2 does, because K2 is one of the, I think it was named the Magic X or the X supplement or something like that. And this was coming back from all the studies that they've been doing all around the world when it comes to oral health. And they were looking at all these population sizes where people's teeth weren't falling. And then they got to know that K2 is this synergistically works really well with things like vitamin D, and in nature you'll find it a lot. So if you have like grass-fed meat, you have grass-fed butter, you have all these things which already has very high levels of K2. But nowadays I see a lot of supplements that are combining the three that work together, like you said, vitamin A, vitamin D, and vitamin K2.
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah, so this would be the basics just for the body to function regularly, and then magnesium to improve recovery, nervous system calming down, and so on. And it's over 300 enzymatic reaction in the body, so this is super important.
There are like 5 or 7 different kinds of magnesium, right? There's magnesium threonate, there's glycinate, there's orotate, there's citrate, everything with 8, and then there's one thing which is different. So what kind of magnesium do you take, or what delivery mechanism do you take? Do you take it in pills form? Do you have transdermal delivery of magnesium, or liposomal? What's your favorite, or what do you take?
I really like For myself, I use different kind of magnesium because they don't use all the same transporters. So you can have more and not over. How do we say? So you won't waste some. For example, if you take 1 gram of magnesium X, maybe you will absorb just some because of the transporters limitation. So but I really like the citrate one for the alkaline stuff and so. But it can be, for some people it can be a little bit laxative, but it depends. But one of my favorite is the glycinate one because it's super smooth on the digestive system, no diarrhea, no problem, and it really calms down the nervous system because of the glycine amino acid bound to it. It is really highly absorbable. So
That's the one that I take. I take towards the evening magnesium glycinate, and towards the day, if I have to put on any magnesium, it'll either be through combining some trace liquid minerals, which already is rich in magnesium, and if not, I would take the magnesium citrate. So I like that we have similar thinking with that. And with I also think that a lot of the times the magnesium gets depleted in response to stress. Now,
yep.
this is not only the stress that, of course, if you're weightlifting and you're doing some kind of Olympic lifting or CrossFit, you have higher needs of magnesium because you're just using that sympathetic nervous system so much. But even things like work stress or relationship stress, or like just
Yep.
the stress of being locked in your house and not being able to get out, I think that also depletes a lot of magnesium stores, which people don't normally think about. So, if anyone who's listening to this, magnesium is one of those things that almost everyone is missing in their diet. And as Mehdi pointed out rightly, it's used for 300 plus enzymatic reactions in your body. So, you don't have to be a weightlifter to use it. I mean, if you're having a good diet, you will get some, but it won't cover your magnesium needs. So in times of stress, make sure you use your magnesium. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
And also just for the muscular contraction, this is why some people get cramps because when you contract a muscle, so the sodium goes in the cell, and this changes the electricity, and so the calcium touches the muscle fiber, and then it excites and it contracts, and to decontract, the magnesium has to touch the bone, and then it decontracts. So every time you contract a muscle, you need magnesium to decontract it.
What about potassium? Does potassium play a role in this complex?
Yeah, potassium also, but not to what I remember, not directly in the muscular contraction.
Muscle. Okay. Yeah, the calcium is the biggest one, I think.
Yeah, calcium excites and makes the fiber contract, and then magnesium comes on top and decontracts.
Mm-hmm. This is probably one of the reasons why, if you're also, this is a side topic, but if you're going on a lot of airplanes, and if you're in places with a lot of geopathic stress or electromagnetic radiation, one of the things that happens is, like when you do your muscle contraction, calcium influxes into something called as voltage gated calcium channels in the cells, and it excites the cells. Most of the times it excites neurons, and then they start dying. And one of the tricks to reduce that, and even to reduce things like inflammation pathways like NF kappa B, is to take more magnesium. So I would also recommend people, like, if you're traveling, one of the ways, or you're on a jet, or you're next to Wi-Fi routers, or like big signal, like big of these TV towers and things like that, then increasing your magnesium will help close those voltage gated calcium channels, and then the calcium doesn't get into the cell and excites it too much.
Also, aspirin works very well for radiation and for those who travel a lot.
That's interesting. I've never heard of that. Aspirin. Wow.
Aspirin, yeah. You can check if you like. If you know Dr. Raman Pete, you can check.
I can check him out.
Yeah,
I know that
super interesting. Yeah.
There have been some protocols of, like, when it comes to heart health, and like when you want to excite, I mean, you want to increase your body's response in a sauna, some people microdose on aspirin,
Yeah.
along with other things. So interesting. This is something that I didn't know about. I will check it out for sure. So what else? Creatine make it to the list?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and creatine is the supplements, I think, the most studied. So this is incredible. It's not just for performance. Of course, it has a direct performance on strength sports, and conditioning sports by replenishing faster the phosphate, the ATP, but also in longevity, and it has been shown to improve recovery after concussions, for example. So it improves memory in vegetarians. It makes wonder. So, but it seems that 10% of population seems to be not responder. I don't know why. Maybe because they already eat a lot of meat and fish, or maybe some genetic. We don't know everything yet.
Yeah, I'd say probably a little bit of genetics.
10% of the population seems to be non-responder to creatine, but yeah, so this is even a longevity supplements, I would say.
I would say it's even a brain supplement. It's like a brain hack, because every time, like there are times where I need some focus and just like some mind boosting things. Now there are nootropics that you can take, but one of the most cheapest ways to increase your brain health and, as you said, longevity pathways, because of the phosphogenic creatine system and increasing the phosphate stores with the ATP, is like just have some basic creatine. But then
Yeah.
creatine also has a lot of confusion. How do you use your creatine? Like, do you have a loading protocol? Because I know traditionally the bodybuilders, what they did was they would have 5 grams of creatine. I think it was 4 or 5 times in a day for like 15 days. That was their loading phase, and then they would maintain it. Do you do it that way, or do you
No,
just use creatine?
I don't do it like this. It seems that this has been popularized by a researcher who had not much time, so he had to load the participants to the study. So what basically what he did, he gained time. So because he had only a few weeks to do it, so he put a lot of load. So he overloaded the system for 5 days or 1 week, and then the 2 weeks after, he could see the potential results also. So it's not necessary. But one thing that I like to do is to take only 1 to 2 grams, but regularly throughout the day, because it seems to saturate after 2 grams. So you have better time to absorb several doses of it throughout the day. For example, 1 gram in the morning, 1 gram in the lunch, maybe 2 grams after training, and then 1 gram at night. But of course,
Okay, interesting.
so this will be better retained within the muscles.
I think a few years ago I saw a study from the Journal, and I think one of them, I think it was the Journal of Strength and Conditioning, and in that study also they mentioned that creatine's effects top off or go off after like 2 or 2.5 grams. So since that time, what I have been doing is just been so I use 5 grams of creatine every day, and I take one serving in the day and one serving mostly towards the evening, and that's like 2.5 and 2.5 grams each. But I like your strategy, so I'm going to experiment with 1 gram divided throughout the day.
But by the way, if you look at nature, in red meats, creatine is present around 1 gram, 1 gram per 250 grams of red meat. So if you eat a nice steak of 250, 300 grams, you get 1
Gram of creatine.
grams. So this makes sense for me. But you
Okay.
eat in the morning, in the lunch, and in the afternoon. So if you eat at least 3 meals a day, you get 3 times 1 gram something. So you end up to between 3 and 5 grams a day.
What's the best way of absorbing creatine? Because I remember when I used to do bodybuilding, Like long back in the day, they used to tell me, just have some grape, something sweet, so it spikes your insulin levels, like let's say an orange juice or something like that, and mix your creatine in that. Now, I know that's not probably the best strategy, but like, what? How do you use it? Do you use it just? Do you just
During
mix
the
it in
meal,
water?
yeah, with the meal, you will get that insulin spike. Yeah,
Okay.
nutrient will yeah.
And what's your personal like? You mentioned about eating meat, and this came up twice. So I'm just very curious to know what kind of a diet or like dietary strategy do you use for yourself? Basically, are you one of those carnivore people? Are you keto? Are you paleo? Are you just like I eat everything? Or
Yeah, well, this is really interesting. Yeah, I would define my strategy like more carnivore-ish, which
Mhm.
means I tend to eat more animal products because this satisfied me more. I feel better, and yeah, this is how I feel I function better. But I do eat a little bit of white potatoes, sweet potatoes, white rice, and some vegetables. Not of all, but some, and well cooked. I love below ground vegetables like beets,
Mhm.
carrots, stuff like that.
Okay.
Um,
And
turnip, and so.
turnips. And do you have when you mention carbs, are you timing your carbohydrate like to have it before the workout to gain some more carbohydrate stores for your workout, or do you have it after the workout to replenish your glycogen stores? How do
Yeah,
you use them?
Yeah, I personally don't like to eat before a workout. It takes me quite some time to digest well. So I really like to train with an almost empty stomach. So which means if I had my lunch at 12 or 1, I prefer training around 4 and not eating just before. But after workout, I will eat quickly.
Okay,
So I
and
finish workout, I take a shower, and then I go to eat something. Or if I don't have time, I use a shake with a high quality whey protein, directly extracted from milk, and yeah, super good stuff. And some fast carbohydrate, maybe juice or powder that I tolerate well, or cluster dextrine and Vitagro. They are super expensive, but with maltodextrin, regular maltodextrin, I get bloated a lot.
mhm.
So I prefer use juices like orange juice, grape juice, any juice, and so juices and or carb powder like cluster dextrin and Vitalgo, for example.
Yeah, I've used
When
those in the past. They're nice.
yeah.
But when you're, what about non-training days? Do you go more of carnivore on the non-training days? Do you still eat carbohydrates, or do you limit carbohydrates?
Yeah, maybe I tend to eat one less meal because the day I don't train, I don't eat the post workout meal, so because it doesn't make me that hungry. But I eat almost the same.
Okay, almost the same.
Yeah.
Amazing. We're almost come to the end of this podcast, and Mehdi, like really, man, thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge and wisdom. It's such an interesting conversation. You're a great person to talk to. But my final question to you is, if you had a time machine, and let's say you could go back 15 to 20 years, and then you can meet your younger self and you can give him one, two, maybe three pieces of advice, like at least one. Knowing everything that you know right now, what would be that one or two pieces of advice that you would give yourself? It could be
Yeah.
about life, it could be about relationships, it could be about anything.
Don't follow girls and don't party, man. Just train. Train.
Nah, that's boring. That's boring. Come on.
Yeah.
When you're young, you have to.
I gave up. I gave up Olympic lifting, and my friends went to the European Championship. So I quit.
Okay.
In another life, maybe I'm a European champion in my weight class.
Okay. So don't party so much.
So
Focus on
much.
what you have.
It's
Yeah.
fun, but don't do it too much.
When did you stop partying?
Well, super early, man, maybe 13.
Okay. And when did you stop partying?
Ah, stop.
Yeah.
Never. No, no, no.
So so I know if I come to France, I have to get in touch with you. Okay.
Yeah, but for no, no. After 25, yeah, I stopped partying. But of course, with occasion, I like to party. Yeah, when if I visit a friend or a friend visit me, or yeah, some nice barbecue in August.
Yep. That sounds like a good thing. Perfect. So
Thank
again,
you.
thank you for all the work that you've been doing. I'm so grateful, Barn, you're online and you're listening. Grateful to you to introduce Mehdi, and thank you, Mehdi, for coming on the podcast. Your stuff is great. I learned a lot of things from you. I might just get in touch with you later with some of the things that you mentioned and a post follow up. And for everyone who's listening, my name is CJ, and I'm signing out from Shift with CJ podcast. Everyone, have a great day ahead of you. Bye, Mehdi.
Ciao. Bye.